Karthik Rajaram, the Vice President and Country Head in India and ASEAN Freshworks, Dr. Ravi Gupta, Founder and CEO of ELETS, all the distinguished Karthikeyan attending this important event. Ladies and gentlemen, let me confess that I am not an expert in this area. But sometimes, it's, when you get an invite that you need to talk about this and give a keynote address. So earlier I used to say, no, this is not my area of interest. But of late I realized that, these are the challenges as a keynote speaker you need to accept. That, so I'll be talking mostly as a layman, these areas which, as I saw during my 37.5 years of government service, the citizen service, in fact, it is the foundation of a vibrant democracy. I was just sharing with Amit that, you look at, any democracy in the world, if it is vibrant, you find they focus on delivering citizen-centric services in a more focused way than the monarchies. Monarchies don't bother, they don't care whether citizens are happy or not happy. And therefore, providing citizen service at their doorstep becomes the primary duty of any government which cares about the citizen, their citizens. So the services need to be, first of all, efficient, but more importantly, should be to their satisfaction. India is a country where you have a federal structure. You have national government, you have state governments, and you have local governments. Most of the citizen services that we thought of, we can think of, are actually driven through these three government layers. And in fact, maximum delivery is done at the local level. So therefore, local government become very important partner in delivering these services. I am told that there are many representatives of the state governments here. So the state governments, they play very important, and see most of the, in fact, if you look at the services, delivery today, it is the state government who are taking interest and who are improving their services in delivering these kind of products and services to the people. In recent years, there has been transformational change in providing service, not just at the central level, but also so much at the state and local level, and all kinds of services. There are some services which are central government provides to their own efforts, but in partnership with the state government. So, for example, the biggest change that has come in recent years, I mean, recall the time, as I'm saying, the 37 years, the 3 decades and 3.5 decades that I spent in government watching all these things. The transformational change that has come, for example, passport service, such a big change, Now, yesterday there was a news that we can have the passport made in 5 days. 5 days you will have, and you can't imagine. I mean, I used to see the passport is applied, and talking about in 80s and 90s, passport, we don't know when it is going to come. And then several kind of verification, police verification, then there will be some, you had to run from pillar to post to get those kind of things. So big change. And the biggest, in fact, the transformation that has come in this entire service is because of the Aadhaar. Aadhaar has really become an Aadhaar for all citizen services, and that is making all changes that you see. So everything, these days you talk about licenses, you talk about the certificates, the birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate, even certificate like, the domicile certificate and so many. All these are now becoming, have become and are becoming online. And that is the big service that, the government has been able to provide to the citizens. And some of the very recent, innovative services like DigiLocker that has come. This is really great. I can't even, I used to have all my birth certificate and the 10th class and 12th class mark sheet, scan and catch somewhere so that it does not lost. You can just deposit in the DigiLocker and just relax. And whenever you want, this DigiLocker can be open, and then you can provide those certificates and documents without any issue. DigiYatra has started, when you can go and to the very kind of easy way of traveling by air and all. So all these are actually making a lot of difference on the thing. This, always we feel that, like COVID, we always look at COVID as something which has impacted all of our lives. And it has always had so much of negative impact on all of us. But COVID has one very positive impact on the entire, at least on the citizen service point of view. And that is like, I recall that, when the COVID was in the peak, at the 2021, say May or that April, May time, the government office, and this was, I'm just sharing my kind of experience, that, everything was shut down. People were not sitting on the street, people were at home, all services were shut down. But one thing government maintained to continue, that is the central government offices were running, and running in person. I still recall that, those days, I used to go to office with 3 masks, and I was not even drinking water. So such kind of, and people were dying like anything. I'm talking about May and June 2021. So when the government was in that mode, that government had a compulsion to work in person, many things were evolved at that time. And one thing that evolved in most of the government ministries, including my own government ministry, that entire filing system, the file and the approval system became online. It was a compulsion. They all had to become online. And then the e-file, although it was in vogue for a long time, but then in the COVID, this e-file became, it's kind of the necessity. And that, because of that, we even now continue with that mode, and all because of that, in Delhi, most of the central government officers, senior officers, they work beyond office hours. Their time goes in meetings like this. You have meetings and so many meetings. So we don't get time to see the files. And normally all senior officers, they sit late in the evening and clear the files. Now the advantage is that you can do this while sitting at home, because everything is now e-file. There is no physical file. And similarly, the files can be even seen on Saturday, Sunday. Earlier, again, this was a practice that most the officers, they used to come on Saturday in the office. You can sit, even if you are on tour, you can clear the file. Even if you are on a foreign deputation, you can clear the file. This is the advantage of the e-governance has really, so thanks to COVID, all these things are now in all science department, and I'm talking about my own department, science and technology and the SCRG. We have absolute paperless work. No file is moved. There is nothing physical on the table. Another good advantage, this is I used to say this, there's a famous kind of question that is being asked in the government and the people in citizen, some so-called those citizens, they have interest in their particular type of files. They will say, "Acha, dekho file kiske table pe padi hui hai." To try to influence, dekho bhai pata karo kiske paas file padi hai. So people used to track the file. अच्छा यहाँ ये डट्टी सेक्रेटरी से अब इसके पास गई और सेक्रेटरी के पास पहुँच गई है, तो अब इन्फ्लुएंस लगाने का टाइम मिल गया. But the e-file has this, the e-file will be seen by me, nobody else will know. And like I practice, normally, no file stays with me for more than 2 hours. तो वो कड़ी वाला चक्कर खत्म हो गया कि फाइल कड़ी हुई है टेबल पे. फाइल कड़ी नहीं है, there is no table, it is on the desktop. So that also has been, so therefore, this is another angle that e-governance has in fact helped corruption. It has really helped reducing the corruption to the great extent. Because it is the time when a file is stuck at a point for a longer period, it actually, kind of promotes corruption. So fast movement of file and papers actually reduces corruption. So this is a great help that corruption has actually been reduced substantially because of this thing. In fact, another area of concern, and that in fact our Prime Minister has been emphasizing on that, is the grievances. And grievances is something, which is directly connected to the satisfaction level of the citizens. So if you're providing something, a service or any kind of governance-related problems, you get the complaints, and not exactly complaints. Complaint word is too very negative. I will say the queries. And I can tell you, and this is my own experience now in the Science and Engineering Research Board, that most of these queries are not actually complaints. Just people want to know certain, they are inquiring about certain key. When is this call open? When are you going to declare results? So all these are queries, general questions that can be answered without any issue. So in fact, the Science and Engineering Research Board, I'm just talking about science-related issue, and I know what they have done. We set up a portal, and this is it's not a one-way traffic. It's a kind of feedback mechanism associated. So we realize that we have been able to reduce the number of grievances to a great extent. So I recall, the famous movie Nayak. And this is the movie on governance, a very, act kind of thing. So in the Nayak, that the hero says that, when you become one day chief minister, they said, I'm going to put a complaint box outside my office and everywhere in the city. And initially there will be large number of complaints, and slowly these complaints will reduce to zero because then I will be able to address everybody's concern. Actually, the e-governance does the same thing. If you really try to address people concern in a very effective way, and this I can say my portal has been able to do this. We have nearly 5 lakh registered users on our portal. Initially there were large number of complaints, and once we have been able to address them, answer them, the complaints are reducing. But most of the portals, they are one way, that you can file the complaint, that is okay, but then how are you going to provide feedback? So that is a need for this issue that is very important. I think the transformational change that is going to come from this providing better service is to creating a better two-way system. Feedback, one is the improving the services, but also having a good feedback system which gets connected is the thing. In fact, the system that we in the science and engineering areas we have been able to put have been able to address some of these feedback system, some of these grievances in a big way, and we are proud to have these things. Two areas that are going to shake up and transform the entire system of delivery of these citizen-centric information is one is the AI. See, today the AI is had not been introduced in a big way in this citizen delivery system. Mostly we are working with the normal kind of services. Now I think I understand the MIT has been working on this issue, and they are going to work on a predictive requirement. So for example, suppose your some kind of services where it requires to be giving you alert that look, your driving license time is the deadline is coming for your driving license, so that deadline may be over, it might expire on that day, or something like, you can say set another thing that might need an alert to your system, your mobile and all. So that is a predictive system that can be worked through an AI-based system. So this is one way forward on this, that is to provide better citizen delivery on particular areas of the thing. The second issue is, all behind all this delivery is one very critical, I would say, critical factor that governs, and that is the data security. Because suppose, for example, when I'm saying DigiLocker, you have all your certificates, your important documents put on that. If they are not secured, then they create, there's a lack of trust. So how do I get the trust that if I put my document on the DigiLocker, they will be safe there and nobody else will see? So therefore, data security is one very big area of concern that all of us have. The Government of Science and Technology is going to launch a mega mission shortly, within, I would say, 15 days or 20 days. And that is the National Mission on Quantum Technology and Application. Many people do not have much understanding about the quantum. And although physicists understand what is quantum, but the citizens in general do not have clarity on quantum. Let me tell you, the quantum, especially the quantum communication, is such a important area, and it has to do with the national security, where any information, secret information that is shared between the intelligence agency of one country with another country, or within the the intelligence services of country, requires very high secured system. But the conventional system of security, data security, will fail if there is a quantum technology put in by any country, your hostile country. So India has to prepare for this deterrence. And so quantum technology, quantum communication, which you call, say quantum key distribution area, where you can secure your data like anything. Nobody can decode it. So we are, in fact, this is the area of concern that India has, and we are working on this quantum technology. Also the area is the national mission on interdisciplinary cyber physical system. So cyber physical systems in an integrated way will be very useful for this e-governance issue, whether it is artificial intelligence, machine learning, or it is any other kind of robotic or cobotics, or even the area like 5G and all. These are all areas of cyber physical systems which India is going to work in future, and we are going to have a leadership role plays in this thing. So I would say, I would end my talk by saying this, that 10 years back, we never had this kind of imagination that we will come this far in the delivery of citizen-centric services. It has taken a transformational change, but in time to come, this is going to be much more transformative because of the technology. The technology will now drive the entire governance, including the e-governance, and the way technology is progressing. And these are the two areas that I mentioned, and I am kind of had the privilege of leading these two missions, the cyber physical system mission and the quantum missions, quantum technology mission, which will change the shape of the entire governance in time to come. You just see, and it's going to be very, very fast. This change is going to come very fast. So let's be ready for these transformative changes that are going to come in next few years. And government has been very conscious about these things, and that's why these two missions have been the priority area of government. And the cyber physical mission was launched some time back, but now quantum mission is getting ready on this thing. So I would end by saying that there is a great future for the governance in terms of delivery of services. We will see that things are going to change like anything in future, and we all need to be geared up for that change. Many people like me, we took some time to understand these changes that is taking place. I used to work in a conventional way that, okay, suppose I had to give a complaint, I will send an email at the most. But now things are changing that, if you had to lodge a complaint, please download the app first and then go to the conclaven rocks and then conclave. All these changes are, taking place, and we need to gear up. We need to get ready for these kind of changes. And once again, I thank ELETS and FutureWorks on this inviting me here and having me here. I think I wish this conference, this meeting a grand success.